All right, Purple Group. Here's the next chapter for Zapato Power, Freddy Ramos Takes Off, by Jacqueline Jules, art by Miguel Benitez. Before we begin, what happened in the last chapter? Who does Freddy go help? Chapter 6. Poopy isn't good for Starwood Park. I should have been back at school with Maria's lunch in 2 seconds, but the tool shed made me stop. The door was open and someone had written on the side in big letters, Poopy. So what made Freddy stop? Mr. Vaslov had worked hard to paint the tool shed white. Now it had a big red bathroom word on it. This wasn't good for Starwood Park. I put down Maria's lunch and ran for some soap and water. In seconds, the shed was clean. But where was Maria's lunch? The paper bag was gone. I looked at my watch. It was time to wash hands and line up for the cafeteria. My chance to be a hero with Maria's lunch was over. I'd be lucky if I saved myself from Mrs. Lane. I closed the shed door. What does Freddy do that makes him stop on his way back to school? And why isn't the bathroom ward good for Starwood Park? What does he discover about Maria's lunch when he finishes cleaning the shed? Zoom, zoom, Zapato! I zipped back to school in a swirl of buzzing smoke. Why did it take you so long in the bathroom? Mrs. Lane asked when I walked into the room. I had a lot to do. Mrs. Lane looked at me kind of funny, but that's all. Most teachers aren't brave enough to ask exactly what a kid did in the bathroom. At lunch, Maria squished her meatloaf with her fork. What I need is super speed, she said. Then I could run home. So what does Freddy have that Maria doesn't? Mama packed banana and jelly for me today. Banana and jelly did not sound better to me than meatloaf, but I didn't tell Maria that. I also didn't tell her that super speed wouldn't help now that somebody had stolen her lunch. Who would do that? And who wrote Poopy on the tool shed? My head was full of questions, including who gave me my purple sneakers. Was Mom right? Did they come from one of my dad's old friends? All I knew was what I was going to do with my Zapato power. I was going to stop whoever was trying to mess up Starwood Park. At recess, my feet hummed like water rushing through pipes. From the playground, I can see my front door. Zoom, zoom, Zapato! I was back home in half a blink, looking for answers. But I found more poopy than answers. This time, someone had written poopy on the sidewalk. I don't want Mom to see this, I thought. Why wouldn't he want Mom to see that? She'll think Starwood Park is turning into a bad neighborhood. We'll have to move again. In a flash, I got more soap and water. The sidewalk was clean, but my brain was still dirty with questions. Who wrote Poopy? Who stole Maria's lunch? And could Zapato Power help me solve both mysteries? I looked behind the tool shed. Nothing there except the yellow flowers Mr. Vaslov planted. Zoom, zoom, Zapato! I ran around the building twice, searching the walls and sidewalks for more red poopy. I didn't see any other bad words, but I did notice something else. The smoke coming from my sneakers covered me in a light cloud that made things sharper and clearer, like I was looking through a telescope. I could see every line between the bricks and the pattern of the curtains behind the windows. If my purple sneakers came from one of Dad's soldier friends, they could be part of some kind of top secret army project. Could they do other stuff I didn't know about yet? What's he doing in the picture? There wasn't time to stop and figure it all out. Mrs. Lane would be blowing the whistle to end recess soon. I ran around the building a third time, searching every blade of grass. This time I got lucky. This time I got lucky. I found a piece of red chalk. It was a good clue. Someone with red chalk wrote poopy on the shed and the sidewalk. Who? Could I figure it out if I kept running around? Or did I need something more than Zapato power? I checked my watch. Mrs. Lane would notice if I didn't come back from recess. She was the kind of teacher who counted heads to make sure no one was lost. Zoom, zoom, Zapato! Even if Zapato power couldn't solve all my mysteries, it could keep me out of trouble with Mrs. Lane. Okay, we'll find out the answer to this mystery in the next chapter of Zapato Power, Freddy Ramos Takes Off.